Look at me. I am the boss now. Hello everyone and welcome. Today I answer the question, can I beat Bloodborne as Lady Maria? Yes. Well, wait, actually no. I'll get this out of the way right now. So yeah, you can of course beat the game as a cosplay run. Wow, big surprise, right? But at the same time, you actually can't in this instance because Maria's outfit and weapons aren't available immediately, so yeah, for those of you that were gonna say if do damage can win, checkmate. Anyway, through some totally legit means, I can acquire her gear now. I was planning on using both the Rakuyo and Evelyn, but something got lost in translation. Not that I'm able to actually equip either of them now anyway. And I don't just mean like, use it at drastically reduced damage. No, this game straight up doesn't even let you hold them if you don't meet the stat requirements. However, that's nothing my old friend, the massive bowling ball here, can't fix. After a few runs of treating the Armor Knights like pins, I have enough echoes to get 10 strength and 20 skill. I'll worry about blood tinge later. So I've never actually used this weapon due to it being so late in the DLC. I mean, sure, you can access the DLC pretty early, I guess, but then you have to get all the way to the fishing hamlet, and honestly, I'm not about that life. The base form is a twin blade with some average, decent range. I never felt like I was constantly missing my attacks, and the damage was also kinda decent. I'm gonna be honest, while definitely a cool looking weapon, it didn't leave a huge impression on me. The transform state splits the weapon in two for a sword and dagger combo. Now that's more my style. Since I don't have a sidearm now anyway, I'm mostly just gonna use that. It's honestly just kinda like a slower but longer reaching Blades of Mercy. You can see here that each individual hit doesn't deal a crazy amount of damage, but the low stamina cost and moderately quick swing does let me get a lot of damage in. And to be fair, it's also at +0. At the end of the Cleric Beast, I got another riposte opportunity. It's not really important, but it's cool for the style points, I guess. Hey Garmin, give me 5! Oops. During the gas coin fight, I kept switching back and forth between modes, mostly because I wanted to try and backstab him, but the transform version doesn't have a charge attack. That isn't the real reason I wasn't able to. No, the real reason is because I'm bad at video games. That being said, I was able to end the fight with one, so who's the real winner here, honestly? I grabbed the Blood Gem Workshop tool because this isn't the horrible Fist of Gradier run. Make sure to talk to Jeff, then it's off to Old Yarnum. I really love the look of this game. I mean, I just love the dark and moody aesthetic. If you too love all things dark and broody, don't forget to like and subscribe. I promise I'll probably come up with better transitions for that bit in the future, but really though, I'm trying to hit 100,000 by the end of the year, and I would super appreciate it if you could help me do that. And there are actual difficult challenge runs to come, don't you worry. Time for the Bloodstar Beast. I tried doing the old Beast Blood Bloody Mary to the corner trick, but I just don't do enough damage for it to work. Doesn't help that the buildup is practically non-existent. Eventually I gave up and just started fighting her normally, but at some point I got hit with slow poisoning. I don't know about y'all, but that doesn't look very slow to me. Also, it's kinda cool that dodging gives iframes on poison damage because, you know, that makes sense, but honestly, as someone who used to program video games, I wouldn't have bothered making an exception for it either. After a few more swings, the Blood-Starved Beast becomes the Life-Starved Beast. 10 out of 10 joke. With access to the Cathedral Ward now open, I make sure to definitely look before jumping off this platform. Yep, this is the expert gameplay that you can expect from me. What weapon do y'all think the doll would use if she did? I wouldn't mind doing a Pretty Princess run. You know this game is set in a different reality because in our world, no one would have answered the door if you knocked. Second weird thing to happen in this run, this witch can throw Molotovs through walls. Bet Lemon wish he had that power during his Molotov only run. You all know the drill by now, bone out and shield my eyes from the truth to make this fight easier. Well, easier than it already is, I guess. I push Wart Witch Granny off the ledge and collect my prize with a Rune Workshop tool. I don't have any specific runes in mind for this run, but I mean, more buffs can't be bad, right? I have some important business to do, so no time for the fun part, just skip to the questionable liquid exchange part. I still remember my first playthrough where Vicar Amelia was just a hard wall. Took me a couple of days to get by her, and I honestly thought Soulsborne games might not be for me. But now I can kinda just walk circles around her. At the very least, I can more appreciate the design of the boss because I'm not in constant panic mode. With her down, I bring inflation to Yarnum, then take myself off the grid in the Forbidden Woods. I still haven't upgraded my swords very much, so I make sure to loot plenty of twin bloodstone shards and then grab the Canehurst summons from Yosefka's clinic. I don't actually want to do this area or fight Logarius yet, but the castle contains the final piece of my cosplay, the Evelyn. Where is Evelyn Bloodborne? The Evelyn. I did go ahead and grab the bloodstone chunks here, making sure to avoid the demi-human swordmasters because I don't want to mess with those guys. I had already put a few levels into blood tinge, but it wasn't enough. Fortunately, I hoard everything that isn't bolted to the ground, so after selling them, I have a whopping 108,000 echoes, more than enough for the 6 extra levels, and just like that, build complete. minus upgrades and gems. I dumped the remaining echoes into Vitality, Endurance, Skill, and Blood Tinge, then return to the Prohibited Grove. I grab the clockwise and anti-clockwise runes, then take on Dollar Store Nazgul. This boss is the actual reason I made my brief stop in Canehurst, that way I could have a weapon to parry them. I guess that kind of extends to all parryable bosses beyond this point, but specifically being able to more easily handle the aggressive shadow makes things just that much easier. Eventually, it's down to just one, and I was going to make a nobody puts baby in a corner joke here, but honestly, Lady Maria could put me in any corner she wants to. Bergenworth, a place of higher learning. Yudi over here was afraid I was going to take her spot as Queen Bee. She was right. Rom is a, well, mostly normal fight. I start phase 1 and clear out the spiders, but then she just took forever to teleport away from me. I was able to push her all the way to phase 3, albeit barely, without any kind of buffs. I mean, in the end, it didn't make a difference because I still had to clear out all the ads, but I guess I should be thankful Rom gave me literally anything to talk about during her boss fight. Guess intelligence was your dump stat there, huh, buddy? And it seems Constitution was mine. The one Reborn starts kinda bad because the Bell Women take 3 hits, which means I accidentally knocked one off. I mean, it's not like it's hard to go down and finish her, but that'll cost her extra. The actual fight isn't anything abnormal, but unfortunately I don't do enough damage to chain stagger the limbs. I mean, yeah, that's not like a, oh no, the run is over, whatever shall I do? It's more in line with, ugh, I stepped in gum and now I have to scrape my shoe awkwardly on this piece of stone because someone couldn't properly dispose of their trash. I was closing in on the end of the game, so I thought I would take a quick break to do some side bosses. First, I head into the Upper Cathedral Ward and take on the hardest boss in the game, 3 of these brain suckers. After successfully avoiding death by Gok Gok 9000, I can fight what is generally considered to be the joke boss of the game. The Celestial Emissary is not a hard boss, but my weapon primarily does slash damage. Couple that with the low overall damage, and I can't really capitalize on the weakness to thrust. So I lead the little ones up this ledge and try and clear them out before stabbing the boss in the ankles. Unfortunately, I couldn't take care of him before the other one showed up, but that's when I remembered. Have gun. I thought about doing Ebrietis now because she's right there, but honestly, I was still feeling a little weak, so instead I went to the Nightmare of Mensis. Yep, camera working as intended, guys. Can someone tell me if these puppets get iframes on their movements? I swear, some of my attacks should connect, but just didn't. Anyway, Mikolash is... he's definitely there, alright? Phase 1 is pretty much a non-issue. He did hit me with a stray hentai attack, but then his AI kinda broke. That happens a lot in my runs, I don't know why. I guess I shouldn't complain though. My own AI also broke as I accidentally tried to attack while standing on the ledge above him, causing me to fall and for him to move to his room. I wanted to use my gun to cheese him, but I didn't realize I had dual swords out. Rookie mistake, honestly. Fortunately for me, he never used a call beyond, and when the fight ended, I won with a backstab, and then I could do a riposte for extra emotional damage. She's not mine, we didn't even have the fun part, remember? On my way to get the Blood Rock, I took out the Winter Lanterns and managed to get 2 gem drops. One was physical attack up, but health sap, so worthless. The other was thrust attack up and beast damage down. That one could actually be useful, except I didn't realize at first that it was specifically thrust attacks. While we have well established that I am illiterate, but in this case I think I just saw blue and a big number and went for it. A couple of things happened in Murgo's fight. First, she did the nightmare phase and once again nothing spawned, leaving me to run around the edge like an insane merry-go-round. The second is that I died. She actually faked me out by turning to the side for absolutely no reason than doing an attack, and I didn't process what it was from this angle, causing me to dodge directly into it. And no, don't ask me why I didn't just dodge behind her. I'm not smart, okay? On the second try, I'm able to stagger her out of the casting animation, and she never actually started the nightmare phase, so GG, Murgo. Time to do some more cleanup, and first up is Father Christmas himself. I didn't expect an issue here. Phase 1 is lots of circling to his right and hitting him once. But then something weird happened. At some point, he just started doing his phase 2 combos, without ever phase transitioning. Now, prior to this, I did land a parry riposte, so I guess it's a health threshold thing, but I never knew that. I always assumed it was a forced transition through him powering up. Ah well, not like it saved him, and after a few slashes, Christmas was ruined for everyone. Next up is Amy, and once again, something strange happened. I landed a charge heavy on her head, and it did absolutely nothing. Like, the damage numbers showed up, but it just did nothing. That's really unfortunate because I'd have probably lopped off half her health with that attack in the follow-up Visceral. I mean, not that she's an issue, at least not this time. It also didn't help that this weapon doesn't have any vertical attack, so hitting her head can actually be a pain in the ass. I ended up just resorting to the low damage leg cuts trying to get her to jump and eventually landed a clean headshot when she landed. Harl is up next, and while I was able to break his limbs, only requiring 2 hits to do so, I wasn't really able to do any solid damage in that time. I was worried that would mean I'd actually have to fight him, but then I stance broke him at low health after the 4th leg break and I knew everything was going to be okay. Back in the Upper Cathedral Ward, it's time to fight... okay, rude. Ebrietis, daughter of bullshit hurtboxes. Her head is her weak point, but since the first swing of my sword is a horizontal slash, I sometimes ended up hitting her tentacle. Not a huge deal, just one of those things I have to work around. You know, this isn't what I had in mind when I searched Lady Maria and tentacles. Second try, the boss goes much better, and at the end I remembered why use sword when have gun. With all the base game bosses out of the way, sans Old Man in the Moon, it's time to take on the DLC. Yeah, I'm still not a speedrunner. While I was on my way to Ludwig, I remembered I hadn't actually taken off the Beast Damage Down gem, which might explain why I did so little to Parl. But I was too lazy to go back and take it off, so I thought since it was likely I would die to Ludwig anyway, I'll just do it after that. He was taking reduced damage during phase 1 since he counts as a beast enemy, but then I managed to get him to phase 2 and I thought, wow, am I gonna first try Ludwig? No, I accidentally held sprint and literally jumped into his attack. And people say Dark Souls 2 has bad hitboxes. Eventually, I got good and the horse from Berserk goes down. Wait, no, I should definitely word that sentence differently. I cast American Magic! Making my way up the research hall, I'm glad to see that the Dark Souls 1 torch halls are still finding work. Living Failures, a boss that has entirely too much health. I don't have much to say. Since I can parry, it's a relatively easy fight, but I do wonder why they have so much frickin' health. Like, 4,000 more than Ludwig. What's the point of that? You could make a case that if you group them together you can hit multiple at once, but I have never seen anyone say, the best strat is to group them up and burst them down. I mean, yeah, fair, you can do that when they cast Draco Meteor, but that's because they stand still. I feel like if you try it when they're able to retaliate, you'll just get bitch slapped into oblivion. Whatever, they go down on the first try, and then it's time to fight my copy. With a gun, Lady Maria is honestly one of, or perhaps the easiest DLC boss. For the most part, I just get in her face and parry her. Even if it results in a trade, I've effectively stunned her long enough for me to easily evaluate the situation. And in the end, the true Maria prevails.
Hi there, Mr. Doomwolf, sir. I'm trying to reach you about your carriage's extended warranty.
I didn't intend to farm gems from these winter lanterns as I wasn't walled by any boss yet, but they both dropped one. The first is a physical attack up with Beast Down, and the second is a physical attack up with increased stamina. Increasing stamina cost is not the best negative effect, but since this isn't a level 1 run, it's probably not too punishing to have on. And the other negative effect of Beast Down won't be great for Lawrence, but it's fine for cost. I also picked up the Cursed Kinship one, which ups kin damage by a lot, but Koss isn't considered kin, he's just straight up a great one. I'll be honest here, that kind of annoys me. I mean, it's great from a lore perspective, but there's also so few kin enemies in the game that it's not really useful. Anyway, I guess I should talk about the actual Koss fight. Nothing happened, I just baited backstabs. I failed to time the free one when he phase transitions, but then he immediately went for the lightning call, so I thought it would be another free chance. I forgot that you can't do it during his animation. He actually did it again right at the end of the fight, but I learned my lesson, and instead of trying to backstab, I just pumped him full of lead. Or quicksilver, I guess. One more DLC boss, and I remember to remove the Beast Down gems this time. The fight starts, and I briefly considered doing the slam loop, but I decided against it because it was my first attempt. I got pretty lucky with the limb breaks, basically keeping him in a near constant stagger state until he did his Lieutenant Dan cosplay. I almost died when I wanted to capitalize on an attack window, but got caught in the lava breath. This made me remember that I'm actually not invincible, and this game will kill me at a moment's notice for getting cocky. So I did the only logical thing of backing off and shooting a gun. I really need to do that gun only run. Gehrman, old friend, the night was long, but it has come to an end. I think I literally just ripped that man's dick off. This fight isn't hard, especially because I have a weapon I can actually do damage with. For a while, I actually thought I couldn't parry him when he buffs, but it turns out I just kept missing the timing, and since he doesn't flinch anymore, it makes it kinda hard to tell if you're doing anything. Finally, the Moon Presence. Awesome lore, terrible fight. At some point, she went for the blood blobs that stop healing, but then she immediately went for the 1 HP drain, so I literally just healed for free. Like, that was the most smooth brain play I've ever seen. And before long, I have ascended. Thank you everyone for watching, and an extra special thanks to my patrons. Stay beautiful, y'all. If you're watching this on YouTube and want to see more while supporting the channel directly, consider subscribing to my Patreon because the next video is already up there ready for your viewing pleasure. But until next time, my friends, fear the old blood.